Many people on both sides of the political divide are curious. How is the Deputy President responding to the union already being engineered between ODM and the ruling Jubilee party, Raila and Uhuru? Because on paper, if Raila and Uhuru marshal all their troops in the particular regions and areas of strength, then whoever they decide will be the next president of Kenya will win by a landslide. So what is DP Ruto doing in response to this? Can he actually do anything? Is there anything to be done? Or should he just sit back and wait for his defeat? Well, for starters, the saying that the bigger they are, the harder they fall, has actually unfolded many times in politics. And the deadly tactics the Deputy President already has up his sleeve could easily overturn the whole situation and deliver victory in an election to Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. That is a fact. And I'm aware there are many of us on this channel who can't stand the Deputy President. I'm aware of that. I'm also very much aware that we have many Raila Odinga supporters on this channel, who do not want to hear anything that may suggest that their beloved Raila Agwambo can actually be defeated fair and square in an election. They don't want to hear that. Hawataki your story. But of course, this is a channel for deep political analysis, and therefore we must look at this possibility. We must look, based on my information, at the tactics the Deputy President is preparing to unleash on the Jubilee ODM alliance as we head to the 2022 Moto Kama Pasi general elections. Let me start by asking you a very simple question. What does a Kenyan presidential candidate focus on? Very deeply, very faithfully, without ceasing. And yet people never notice. What is this they focus on? Is it their own votes, the number of votes that they need to win the presidential election? No. That is important. But without something else, this other something else, even if they win the presidency, there'll be a lame duck president, which of course will be better for Kenya in my opinion, but it will be disaster for that presidential candidate. So what is this other thing? I'm sure most of you have already guessed. It is number of parliamentary seats in the House. It is not the president who approves the budget, because whatever they want to do, they'll need money. It is parliament. It is not the president who makes laws. It is parliament. And so you will not be surprised when I tell you that one of the areas of focus of the Deputy President and his team is in political party primaries. Not even the election proper. Political party primaries. Because that is where everything happens. And I'm going to demonstrate to you shortly precisely what I mean. And let me start with a statement that will shock you to your bones, but is 100% true. A majority of the governors we have in Kenya today, and a majority of the parliamentarians we have in Kenya today, all their seats to, not the people of Kenya, to Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. What does this mean? Now, of course, betrayal is possible. Betrayal happens all the time. Betrayal is the nature of politics. But the truth is, if push came to shove, a vast majority of parliament as it is today must stand with the Deputy President. A vast majority of governors within the Council of Governors today must stand with Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. Of course, it is also true that there's been a lot of betrayal of the Deputy President, both within the governors, and in parliament. That is true. You're in power as a governor. Yes, without the deputy president, you'd never have been governor. But now you're in power. There's no election currently. So you can do what you want. So you don't have to do what he tells you. That has happened many times. However, when it comes to an election, the ground changes very quickly and very dramatically. In fact, it starts changing as we approach an election, because some of those governors want to be re-elected. Some of those governors are serving their second and last term, and they need a job befitting of a former governor after 2022. Now, let's not be naive. When I say that the deputy president has his support, the vast majority of parliamentarians and governors, I'm not even talking about political parties. I'm talking about individuals. Let's look at one example from the coast. Muhammad Ali, who was ODM Damu going into the 2017 elections. Or so we thought. But we now know he was fully financed by the deputy president to vie for parliamentary seat on an ODM ticket, and then, once elected, to serve the purposes of the deputy president in parliament, ignoring the party ticket he ran on. So don't get confused when you're doing arithmetic, trying to prove kumekucha wrong by counting people based on the parties they belong. I'm afraid in this particular instance, that means zero or very little. Anyway, we are talking about the deadly weapon the deputy president will use, to completely destroy the powerful ODM Jubilee and render them powerless and defeated in an election, if ODM and Jubilee are not awake. And the truth is, ODM was not awake, they were not fully awake in 2017. And they suffered the consequences and continue to suffer those consequences. Let us also admit, whether we like the deputy president or not, this is an area where this man is deadly. So let me paint the full picture for you. You're a presidential candidate. You need members of parliament. And you know the seats which you have in the bag already. So you're focusing your full attention on the strongholds, the perceived strongholds of your opponent. And you must defeat your opponent at the primaries, not the general elections. You must defeat your opponent before they even get to the election proper. So what do? You know that's your opponent's stronghold. You know that the party which everybody follows in that particular area is your opponent's party, ODM in this instance. And so you simply introduce your candidate into those primaries to run on the ticket of your opponent. And for you, it is a win-win situation. If, for instance, your opponent discovers what you're doing and they rig out your candidate, which is exactly what usually happens, then going into the elections proper, your candidate as an independent candidate this time will have something very powerful to win those elections. And that something is called sympathy votes. We saw in 2017 how powerful sympathy votes were because they turned elections deep in Luo Nyanza in the direction of independent candidates against Raila Odinga. I'm sure you remember that. And so at the end of the election, if you have won and succeeded in being elected president, and you sit down to count your number of parliamentarians and governors, you're of course not looking at parties. You will count several in your opponent's political party who are actually your candidates, bought and paid for by you, and therefore must clandestinely do what you want. By the way, this is one of the reasons why an impeachment motion in Parliament against Deputy President William Samoei Ruto has zero chances of going through. And I have another shocker for you. The deputy president did not start this work of getting his people into place in 2017. No! This work started in the run-up to the 2013 elections. And it was perfected in the run-up to the 2017 elections. It is already done. And so, in the run-up to the 2022 elections, all that is happening is fine-tuning. All this introduces a brand new perspective that no analyst has touched yet. Yeah, but it's a very high possibility of William Samoei Ruto losing the presidential elections in 2022, but ending up in full control of parliament. Now, this is something we're going to explore much more deeply in subsequent videos. And indeed, I should give you time to get over the shock, because I'm sure this is news to many of us. But meanwhile, there's also more shocking tidbits in my weekly intelligence briefings, and it's very easy to be a member. Just listen in. While I try my very best to give you real value on this public channel and to give you all the valuable information I can, the truth is there's some information that is way too sensitive to share on this public channel. That information usually ends up in my weekly intelligence briefings, which is usually moto kama pasi. Just to give you a few examples, what really happened to former President of Tanzania, Dr. John Pombe Magufuli? Is it true that he passed on at a Nairobi hospital? Actually, the Magufuli inside story is nothing short of mind-boggling. Most people who have taken in my WIB number 52, which contains this information, have been left breathless. Even the most hardened cynics have been left bila words, if I can put it in the Kenyan way. Another example of a WIB that I published recently. There is a secret that those who are close to Raila Odinga have guarded and continue to guard with everything they have. Why is this particular secret so sensitive? And what is it anyway? It is contained in one of my WIBs. In fact, a recent one. And there's much more, including things you'd never imagine that are happening in the corridors of power that neatly explain what we see unfolding in the public domain. Bottom line, you will never look at Kenyan politics in the same way again after you become a WIB subscriber. Indeed, it is true to say that in most instances, the truth is stranger than fiction, and sometimes much more difficult to believe than fiction. But it remains the naked truth. And now you have a golden opportunity of becoming a weekly intelligence briefing subscriber on a monthly basis, which will automatically give you access to every single WIB ever produced. Oh yes, I will send you all the WIBs immediately you become a subscriber. And to become a monthly subscriber, all you need is $9.95 only, or Kenya shillings 995 only. Simply send a blank email to the email address you see on your screens right now, and you'll get an automated response by email instantly, within seconds, with full payment instructions and what you need to do. The same full payment instructions are also included in the description area below this video on YouTube. I strongly recommend that you go for it, because this offer will not last for much longer. I really look forward to seeing you on the other side as a WIB subscriber. Thanks so much for your support. It means a lot to me. And I'm saying that very sincerely from the bottom of my heart. I look forward to seeing you on the other side as a WIB subscriber. Until next time, this is Kshs. Kumekucha.